Agenda, no changes that I have, so. Motion by John, second by Ross, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Approve modified minutes December 3rd, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Towner, second by Coonan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Comments from the public. Anyone from the public want to speak this evening? Is all good? Going once, twice, three, all right. Consent agenda, we don't have any this evening, and we are down to child support. Saki, how are you this evening?
Good evening, sir. I'm fine, and you?
Oh, wonderful. Sorry about taking away from such a beautiful evening.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. Welcome, Supervisor Van Lannen. I'd like to invite you to child support. We're on the 4th floor. If you'd ever be interested in getting a tour and meeting our staff, welcome.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, of course. My report is fairly extensive, although December was kind of quiet, which is a good thing. Staff did a great job with coverage. Things are going well. We had some moves today. We're just starting with making a fresh start for 2026, so moving some people around, and it's a busy year. We're looking forward to it, but excuse me, I'm a little sick. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but we're doing well.
Anyone have any questions? I tried to find with you because I got questions for these other guys.
Oh.
Hard as I worked, I didn't find anything.
Well, Chairman Van Dyke, you know where I work, so feel free to reach out.
All right, we're all good?
Thank you very much.
Good night, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving on to the treasurer's report. Ray, come on up. Very nice report. It was like,
John, can you get that?
like 4 pages, and I do 5. We have questions. So go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. As I indicated in my report, there's a lot of different things, and it's to keep you abreast of the activities are going on and what sort of activities. There's a lot of reconciling, etc. That goes on in our department. A big thing that if you go on page 1 under November, in the first part where it says ongoing, that talks about the delinquency, and which ultimately would go into the foreclosure category. I want to point out that there were 160 delinquencies back when we started in September. October dropped to 145, November 137, December 111. The more that people realize that ultimate foreclosure, this is going to reduce itself. Previous years, it's ranged from about 10 to 20, 22 actual foreclosures, and about half of those are vacant lands. Going on the second page, top of the second page, where I talk about property tax receipts, we were, at the time I did this report, on December 28th, under the receipts for the prior year. The end of the month, December, we got a massive amount in, so we actually got more in 25 than we did in 24. So, but this doesn't reflect this because I did it as of the 28th. Our investments continue. When they mature, we've been replacing them with higher interest yields because some of those investments were in less than 1.2%. As a result of that, for the year, our interest earnings, which was budgeted at about 4.7 million, is over 2 million over that. So,
2 million interest, right?
Pardon me?
2 million over our estimate.
Over the budgeted
interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just check one thing for a second here. Okay, we haven't purchased any investments lately, but the interest rates, as you know, got decreased down to 3.5 to 3.75 by the Feds at their last meeting. On December 10th, their next meeting is January, end of the month here, 26th, 27th. When they voted to reduce the interest rate in December, there were 9 in favor of reducing it. Then there's a 12-member board. After they reduced it, they kind of took a poll, and at that point, 10 of them were not in favor of any further reductions at that point in time. Looking forward, the reports that have come out and the long-term borrowings tend to imply that there will probably not be an immediate rate reduction, but you never know. Just noting here, the interest rate for our investment, the short-term LGIP, local government investment pool, I estimated at 3.8%. It actually come in at 3.82%. Pretty close. As you can see on top of page 3, the treasury notes there that we've been buying. The last one was at 3.757. The close yesterday was at 3.71. So it's been holding somewhat consistent. It dips down into about 3.68, but reflection of fairly good confidence in the market. I talked about the November carryover foreclosure goals. I want to inform the board that foreclosures are a result of continued effort of trying to collect. As I indicate here, there have been 9 notices to the owners of these properties that they're delinquent on taxes. When they become delinquent on taxes as of February 1st in April every year, then in February we sent out a notice of delinquency. In April we sent out a notice of delinquency, and in August we sent out another notice. All of those do generate some payments, but when you get to the point where the ones that we're foreclosing on, we've done that for 3 years now. So these people have had 9 notices before the actual notice of foreclosure. So they have plenty of time. Our goal is not to just foreclose on the property, it's to receive the delinquencies that are due us and the municipalities. If we have to foreclose, the goal is to get it property in the hands of somebody who will pay taxes in the future. I identify 2 different specific parcels there. The one parcel I've got identified as number 1 with the SC. This is a piece of property that's only about 9 feet wide and 200 feet deep between 2 residential pieces of property. This is not a piece of property that we intend to foreclose on because its future useful purpose is very limited. The next parcel is a vacant piece of property. It's a fairly large piece of property if you look at the legal description of it, but unfortunately the majority of it is underwater. This one, there may be some interest by a governmental entity in it, so that I just wanted to bring that to attention. 2 pieces of property that are of not significant value that are out there. Our courier, our contract, we should have something there set by April 1st going forward. I talked about analyzing procedures and stuff. I set up a new policy, whereas when the municipalities, and this is for the transition of funds, property tax funds going back and forth between the county and the municipalities and the school districts. We had nothing in place to necessarily verify it when somebody calls us up and give us the new banking information. So I've implemented policy that we now verify, get it verified before we automatically change the opportunity there to hopefully prevent misuse of funds. Fraud. Treasurer's manual, I've talked about it for about 8 months that I've been working on it. I just give you a part of the table of constants to show you that there is something being prepared and in existence, and there are a lot of different topics, etc. I don't intend to ever give you the whole manual. It would be material for under your pillow at night. But making progress on it. Any questions?
I'd like to give it to my high school students as a punishment that they have to rewrite it.
I have one quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, John, I have several.
I was gonna ask you know, on our mill rate, it dropped on our tax base, and the original mill rate dropped. But on the property tax bills, you know, a lot of them said it went up 3.5%. 3.9% on the tax bill of the property owner. What, can you kind of run that by us a little bit?
Sure. If you look at a teeter-totter and you look at the prior year's tax dollars of all property taxes, okay, that was based upon the assessed value of the properties in 1 year. And by formula, take the tax requirements divided by into the assessed value, you come up with a mill for distribution. Okay, if you stay, and let's use a stagnant situation, with the same amount of tax dollars, many of the municipalities have revaluations, so the assessment of the property went up. Think of a teeter-totter. If you're like this, if your assessment goes up and you want the same ending result, the mill rate is gonna go down. Okay, so that's part of the factors that go into it. You have other things depending on the municipality, if they had in debt repayment or referendums and stuff like this. And you really have to look at the component, like the county component, the vocational school component, the school district component, as well as the municipality. So it's not a simple answer to just give. That confuse you now?
So if me and Pyle are sitting on a teeter-totter together, we're even out. Me and Kuhn and I are sitting on the teeter-totter together, I'm really down on the ground, she's way up in the air. Don't worry about it.
What I mean is when you set value goes up, it's gonna force the mill rate down.
Got it.
But ultimate tax dollars and what is expected, it doesn't stay the same from year to year, so that's going to increase. There are some people that have seen this fairly substantial increase, some people flat, and some people actually a slight decrease.
Sorry, I've got a few questions. On your report, page 1, just in general, you know, you mentioned mailing services, property tax mailed, and then you get 2011 bills back. Are you aware, have there been any conversations, like, I know this would be a state thing, but to get to a possible point where you could email bills? I mean, the state does it with all kinds of forms now. I mean, if you want your, you know, your, whatever the form number is for, you know, your state refund, you know, they send you that, well, it's gotta come via email now, they email it to you. It just seems like with so much of that stuff moving that direction, that this whole printing off and mailing of bills is at some point gonna be a bit antiquated, that, you know, why would we give people the option
Well,
of
that
email to them?
That 2,000, 2,100 that you mentioned, those were address corrections that were identified before they were mailed out.
Okay.
So they were not false and mailed
Okay.
out.
Okay.
But what happens then is we receive a file back so that we can update our records.
Okay.
Okay, and that's part one.
Yeah.
Part two, the statute clearly says that property tax bills must be mailed and we get by, I believe it's the third Monday in December. So
So
until the statute changes its terminology.
Okay, so we'll still be mailing them another 50 years. Let me see, next question was going to be, page 3. I know that February is obviously just around the corner, but like on those future treasury note maturities, in this case, they're less than 0.7%, you got $2 million coming due in February. Do we ever have any option of cashing those in early, or is that?
You always have the option of cashing in most debentures early, and these, yes, you do.
Okay.
And they did a few years ago, and it turned out to be a loss situation, because if you're in the position of the holder of them, okay, if you're gonna cash it in, they want to make sure that they make up so they don't lose.
Mhm.
And these are written such that you end up basically losing the early cash-in fee that's associated with it.
Okay.
So it's
doesn't
not
offset the difference.
Not beneficial.
All right, on page 4, couple things on 4. First, just a clarification, that parcel 2-HW, you say a vacant, mostly submerged parcel of property of 4.615 acres with less than 0.3 acres of, that should be developable land, right? It says undevelopable.
Well-
So, okay, that I just want to clarify. So with those 2 parcels as examples, what are, I mean, obviously it doesn't pay to foreclose on them, but what kind of options do we have to kind of get them off the books? I mean,
Well-
just to give them, I mean, like, for example, that little strip of property, I mean, it,
Well, I actually contacted the parties on the parcel 1, and they were unaware of the centerpiece, they thought they owned it, so they are now aware. I put them in contact with each other, so it's neighbor 1, neighbor 2, and the son of the original developer. So I'm hoping, and I encourage them to get a hold of each other and work this out.
okay.
But it's not something that we want to get in the middle of.
Okay,
And ultimately, when they go to sell the property, it's going to be an issue for them.